not too long ago, we did this experiment that had to do with density, okay? Now, we added a liquid to water, and what happened when that liquid was more dense than the water? Can anybody tell me over here?
It floated to the bottom.
It floated to the bottom, or
Sank.
it sank to the bottom. That's right. When things are more dense, they kind of are heavier, and they go down, okay? What happens if they're less dense? Brandy.
They float.
They float on top, don't they? They're kind of on the surface. And what happens if something has the same density of water? Danielle?
They kind of mix together with the water.
They kind of mix together. We don't see any difference, do we? There's nothing floating on top. There's nothing on the bottom of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we are going to investigate the concept of thermal layering. And to understand that, you have to remember the information that we learned in our science experiment that dealt with density. I want you to pretend that this is a lake here in Michigan. And we're going to pretend it's a lake in the summertime. How many of you have ever been swimming in a lake in Michigan? All right, okay. What does it feel like when you first jump in the water? Cassidy?
Like when you go further out into the lake, the water will get colder because it gets deeper.
The deeper the water is, the colder it is, right? So where is your warmer water at? Where is your warmer water at in the lake?
Near the shore.
Near the shore, which is usually the upper layers, right? The top of the water. If warm water is less dense than hot water, if I add cold water to our lake, where's it going to be? Noah?
The bottom.
It will be in the bottom, okay? Well, I want you to notice I have a container here, and I have blue food coloring in here. And this is going to symbolize the cold water that we are going to add to our Michigan lake. Okay. And I am going to lay this into the lake. And I want you to pay attention where this cold blue water settles in the lake. And just watch this water for a minute. What do you notice that this cold water is doing in our lake? What do you notice that it's doing? What do you think? Joanna?
It's kind of clouding up.
It's clouding up. And where is it staying for the most part? Where is our bluest water, the most blue water? Where do you think it is?
Luke, at the bottom.
It's at the bottom of the lake. So our coldest water, the bluest water in our lake, is staying down here at the bottom, isn't it? Okay, all right. Now, if I were to add hot water to our lake, where do you think it would be? Tori?
It would probably float up to the top.
Okay, very good. It would stay at the top or float to the top, now wouldn't it? Now let's think about this. When we have lakes here in Michigan, do we go around adding hot water to them? No. How do those upper layers get warm like that? What causes them to be warm like that? Avery?
The sun.
The sun. The sun is what is responsible for actually heating that upper layer, isn't it? Okay? So let's take some hot water to our lake. So I can cover it up. I'm going to do something very similar to what I just did with our cold water, but I'm going to wear gloves because this jar is very, very hot. So I want you to watch this, and I'm going to do this as gently as I can so don't disrupt my layers. Now you see our bluest layer is still at the very bottom, right? Bluest water is at the bottom. Okay, let's just gently lay this in here. Okay, now watch carefully what happens. Cassidy, what do you notice?
That the red of the liquid is staying at the top, so like the warmer water is covering up mostly, not like the bottom, because the bottom's supposed to be more colder than the warm water.
Okay, now we're thinking about a summer lake in Michigan. Okay, we're talking about a summer lake in Michigan. So let's picture a side cut of this lake. Okay, here's our lake. And you talked about the 3 layers. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, let's think about our warmest layer is going to be up here. 15 degrees Celsius is about what this middle layer will be here in the summer in a lake. Okay? So, anybody want to take a guess about what it might be here? Because 15 is about, if it were 3 to 1, maybe this would be about 45 degrees. And we're not going to swim in water that's 45 degrees. What do you think it might be? Noah?
20 degrees.
Actually, you're really, really close. It'd probably be about 25 degrees Celsius. Okay? And then this bottom layer down here would be about 6 degrees Celsius. And this is just on an average small lake here in Michigan. Okay? Now, we have our warmest layer on top, our coldest layer on the bottom. Where in our summer lake are we going to find our most dense layer? Let's see, what can we come up with? Avery, what can you come up with?
It's going to be at the bottom.
It's going to be at the bottom, and this is going to be our coldest water or our warmest water?
Coldest.
Coldest water. So where is the least dense layer? What do you think, Sarah?
The top?
The top. Very good. And is this our coldest layer or our warmest layer?
Our warmest.
Our warmest layer. So in a summer lake in Michigan, the warmest water is the least dense.